I'll tell you, I was not really good when it comes to memorizing stuff, so I would get pretty desperate sometimes and even do crazy things like listen to a lecture in my sleep in hopes of retaining some more info. I've even slept with a textbook under my pillow the night before a test and hoped that some sort of miracle would happen and I would somehow wake up with all the answers in my head. I told you, I was desperate. None of it ever worked out, but the concept of learning in your sleep is not as outrageous as this sounds. So here are a few things you can actually learn while you snooze. Number one, you can learn a foreign language. In a 2014 study conducted by researchers at the University of Zurich in Switzerland, a group of native German speakers were split into two groups, and each group started to learn basic Dutch words. But when they were asleep, researchers secretly played the sounds of those basic words repeatedly to one of the groups. Later, when they were tested, the group that listened to the words while they were asleep were much better at identifying and translating them. To confirm the results of this experiment, researchers had another group listen to the words while they were awake, but this group could not recall the words nearly as well as those who heard them in their sleep. Scientists believe the results suggest that sleep helps memory, probably because the sleeping brain spontaneously activates previously learned subject matter. While you sleep, you can also learn to play an instrument. Okay, I've been wanting to learn how to play the guitar since, well, forever, but unfortunately, I've got zero, and I mean zero, music, artistic cells in my body. So if you're like me, then you should be glad to know that research suggests that learning a new instrument could partially be done in your sleep. According to a study conducted by researchers at Northwestern University, a group of people were brought together and was taught to play guitar melodies. Afterwards, all the participants went and took a nap. Again, one group of the contestants were unknowingly subjected to sounds of the guitar melody as they slept, and the other group was not. When they woke up, those who heard the sounds while they were asleep played the melody far better than those who did not hear it. Paul Reber, co-author of the study, said, "Our research shows that memory is strengthened for something you've already learned. Rather than learning something new in your sleep, we're talking about enhancing an existing memory by reactivating information recently acquired." Next, you can learn new information. Researchers from the Academic College of Tel Aviv conducted an experiment in 2012 to see if new information could be absorbed by the brain while you sleep. So they gathered a group of people, and while they slept, a tone was played to them which was followed by a pleasant odor. Then a second different tone was played to everyone, followed by a nasty odor. This was repeated, and over the course of the night, the odor was eliminated and just the two tones were played to the sleeping participants. Researchers noticed that even with the odor gone, the participants inhaled deeply when the tone that was associated with the pleasant smell was played, and took shallow breaths when the tone associated with the nasty odor was played. What was really interesting was that this same reaction occurred once the participants were all awake. So even though the group had no conscious recollection of the associations, they responded differently when the two tones were played to them, thus proving that humans were able to learn new information while asleep. And finally, sleep can help you remember faces and names better. I've mentioned on this channel before that I am extremely, just horrendously bad with names and faces, but I'm really good at pretending though. Hey Mike, nice to see you again. Oh hey, nice to see you again. Dude, bro. You have no idea who I am, do you? Jackie Chan? So if you're just as bad as me, then maybe you need to sleep more, because in 2016, a research study from the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston shows that a good night's sleep can help you remember faces and names. In the study, participants were shown 20 photos of faces with the correct names on them. 12 hours later, they were shown the faces and names again, but this time the names on the photos were changed, and the participants were asked to determine if the names on the photos were accurate, as well as the confidence level of their answer. Each participant completed the test twice, once with a good night's sleep in between, and once when the participants just stayed awake. The results show that those who were given the opportunity to sleep did 12% better than those who didn't. The findings suggest that sleep after learning something new may help improve memory. Now, the reason why sleep is so good for our brains is because brain activity slows down, and we tend to spend time in a phase called slow wave sleep, or SWS, which is when some of our short-term memories are moved into long-term storage in our prefrontal cortex. So basically, the more slow wave sleep you get, the better. And I've been out of school for a while, thank goodness, no more exams, but if any of you out there are taking language classes or trying to learn a new instrument, try some of these out and let me know if they help you. Thanks for watching, guys. See you. What's up, guys? It's Mike Chen. We've all crammed for exams before, and I'll tell you, I was not really good when it comes to memorizing stuff, so I would get pretty desperate sometimes and even do crazy things like listen to a lecture in my sleep in hopes of retaining some more info. I've even slept with a textbook under my pillow the night before a test and hoped that some sort of miracle would happen and I would somehow wake up with all the answers in my head. I told you, I was desperate. None of it ever worked out, but the concept of learning in your sleep is not as outrageous as this sounds. So here are a few things you can actually learn while you snooze. Number one, you can learn a foreign language.